The biggest, most irrefutable argument for Vinicius Jr. winning the 2024 Ballon d'Or isn't a single goal, nor is it a number or a trend. Rather, this player's impact can be best explained by a pre-season friendly against Barcelona in New York in August. Still recovering from the Copa America and perhaps slightly underprepared thanks to an hour-long lightning delay, Vinicius was introduced into the contest with 30 minutes to play. He didn't score, nor did he assist. But in that cameo, with Vinicius still rusty and needing a few more weeks of holiday, everything that was great about the Brazilian was on display. There were the twists, turns, and stepovers, the bursts of pace down the line, the audacity to try a rainbow flick. The crowd, 82,000 in MetLife Stadium, mostly clad in Madrid, white rose to its feet every time he touched the ball. And such was the deserved reaction for a player who has somehow remained out of the world-class conversation for far too long. Vinicius spent a lot of the early days of his Madrid career playing alongside more impactful players, and then even longer either being ignored or somehow underrated. Last season, though, everything fell into place. Vinicius ended the season with a LaLiga Champions League double, having played a starring role for his side, and always showed up in the big games. He made the Champions League his playground, and a return of 26 goals and 11 assists for club and country makes for fine reading. The 2023-24 campaign wasn't the year that Vinicius came good, but it was the first year when he truly became a difference maker. No one then is more deserving of the Ballon d'Or than the magical Brazilian. It always figured to be a bit of a strange season for Vinicius. The departure of Karim Benzema, announced suddenly on the eve of pre-season, saw Madrid's system change dramatically right when it should have been falling into place. Carlo Ancelotti, ever the great tactician, responded in turn. Vinicius was no longer an outright winger. No, he was a striker, part of a front two alongside compatriot Rodrigo, asked to play narrower and occupy often unfamiliar positions. Throw in the fact that he no longer had his arch-enemy turned running mate Benzema to link up with, and there really should have been an adjustment period for the Brazilian. Not so fast. There were, admittedly, some growing pains, but Vinicius darted into the season with aplomb. He created chaos in the opener against a tricky athletic club team, running rings around his man and looking dangerous every time he touched the ball. That crucial end product then showed up in the second game of the campaign, where he iced a 3-1 win over Almeria. The great showman. Injuries showed up after then, a tweak to his quad ruling the Brazilian out for a month. All the while, Jude Bellingham began playing hero for Los Blancos, enjoying the best start to any campaign for the famous Whites since Cristiano Ronaldo. There was a sense through September and October that the England midfielder already had the Ballon d'Or wrapped up. Then Vinicius returned and everything started to fall into place for Madrid in terms of turning ugly wins into straightforward ones. While Bellingham was still finding the net at a furious rate, Vinicius was doing all of the crucial bits to stretch defenses and set things up. Perhaps most importantly, he always entertained. There were the outrageous flicks, tricks, and stepovers. He could decelerate and take off before opposing fullbacks could even interpret the direction of the ball. He juggled on the wing by way of teasing opponents, and every time the ball went out of play, Vinicius could be found facing the crowd, waving his arms into the air by way of getting behind the team. Such things often drew the ire of opposing players and fans alike. Those passages were often associated with cockiness or complacency. It is well known, of course, that professional athletes are not supposed to have fun. But for onlookers without bias or agenda, Vinicius is what made football watchable. Know little about the sport, and you could still marvel at this audacious showman, tucked into the space between the opposing fullback and center back, dribbling around and looking like he was enjoying every second.